Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Yes, welcome back to my channel. Before you leave, subscribe. Alright, so, hey guys, how's everybody's day going today? I hope y'all are all having a good one. I got off early today because I went to work and I knocked it out. Got all my stuff done quickly. Hey Tabitha, how you doing, girl? And I'm fixing to clean up the house, and I thought I'd come and talk to you guys while I'm getting stuff cleaned up and picked up and doing chores around the house. So, how is everybody doing? How's your day going, girl? I hope it's going good. Hey, Jason. What's up? So, my Pat McGrath order has shipped. So, I'm super excited. I'm waiting for that to come in the mail. Hopefully, it'll show up today. That would be the bomb. Let's take this laundry down. Then I went to Sephora today and I got Neil his cologne for Christmas. Jimmy Choo Man. And it smells so good. I'm so excited. I love it when he smells good. And I also got myself the Kat Von D Fetish Cheek Palette, which is, it was marked down, you guys, to $21. So it's on clearance right now at Sephora. If you didn't know and you want to go check it out, that's the real tea. Oh, mercy. Let's take all this stuff down and wash it. So can you tell I put a little bit on my cheeks, and then look at my eyes. I love eating me some makeups. Okay, let's take this laundry down. Okay. I'm going to go downstairs and do the laundry and take y'all with me. Take this towel. There's towels all over this house, all over the floor. Hey, Bama. Sorry, guys. I'm fixing to park it. Let me get downstairs so I can do the dishes and talk to y'all. Oh. Sorry. Ay. All right, here we go, guys. All right. I gotta take my medicine because it's afternoon, right? Side-eye. We're going to do the dishes. And I'm going to clean up this damn house. It's a fucking wreck. There we go. Alright. That's my... I just take half of it. I save the other half for later. Tomorrow. Okay. So... you guys, my house is like, okay, it's like dirty, you know, to the point where I need to like vacuum, dust, mop, do all the laundry, all kinds of stuff. Woo. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today while we talk. So what's going on? Guess what, y'all? So I went into work today, and I was at a different store than I was yesterday. I have to do this store I was at today twice a week. So I do it on Mondays and Thursdays, right? Yeah, I have, Tabitha. What medications are you on? What did it come back positive for? One time I had one come back positive for cocaine. I've had them come back positive for benzos. I've had them come back positive for meth. And it was because of medication that I was taking. Some medications can make your drug tests come back false positive. And so you need to make sure that you list every medication that you're taking when you take a drug test. Even if it's like Benadryl. It's really cool. A lot of the times, okay, were these dirty? Yeah. Oh my gosh, lazy bum. Ugh. What are y'all saying? I don't know what clinic you go to. Okay, so tell us, what was it? What did you fail for, Tabitha? And I'll let you. Because I think I've had it happen to me before. Hey, George, what's up, buddy? Guys, I've had lots of tests come back positive, and it was because they were old tests too. Like old urinalysis, like the strip dipstick tests. Those go out. They expire. So your clinic might have an old set of tests that need to get thrown out, especially if they're still doing the pee strip ones. Oh, what'd you say? Tabitha said, "Mon, not mine." Oh, not yours? Okay, well, it happens sometimes. Oh, well, girl, what if you're taking anything like Benadryl? Benadryl can make your test come back positive for benzos. I have a question, really. Just make sure you list everything, and usually everything will be all right. So, I have to tell you guys what happened today at work. So, I have to go to this store twice, right? Twice a week. And so, I'm the kind of person, like, when I go into my job, you guys, I go in and I get her done. Like, I go back to the back, I get all the boxes, and I start getting to work. Like, I don't waste any time. And the manager called me back in the back office, and he goes, "I just want to tell you that thank you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Thank you for coming back here and getting those boxes and working them out and not leaving them back here." He goes, "You're the first employee from Hallmark that actually comes in and doesn't leave their boxes laying back there for weeks." I was like, hell yeah. And weren't we just talking about this yesterday? How, you know, like, so I felt that made me feel so good, you guys. Like, I needed that. Oh my God, I gotta call Frank. I forgot to call Frank this morning. Y'all, this is just fucking dirty, dirty. I don't know why I'm still washing this. I think I'm gonna throw it away. Okay, so dishes are loaded. Okay, hold on, guys. Oh, I'm cleaning the dishes. All right. Clean this fucking shithole out. It stinks. Ugh, I hate it. I hate when food gets stuck down the disposal. Yuck. Oh, I see what's going on. That thing's stuck. Okay. So I'm cleaning, but I'm fixing to make a sun-dried tomato turkey pita with cheddar cheese and mayonnaise and mustard. But I need to clean this kitchen first. So I got a job well done from the back room manager, who, like, he gets all the shipment in, and so he was like, thank you for coming and getting everything and not letting it build up back here, you know? That's a big deal. That's a big compliment. Yes, I will make a video soon. Oh yeah, Tabitha, we're not talking about prescribed medicine, baby. We're talking about over-the-counter medicine. Over-the-counter medicine can make your drug screen come up positive for stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, Benadryl can make your drug screens pop positive for benzos. Did you know that? Also, I think there is something that can make you pop positive for amphetamines or methamphetamines too. So, but anyway, get that figured out. It'll be all right. So, let's think about how's everybody doing in their recovery. So, guys, did you guys wake up and do your prayer this morning? Did you wake up and do the guide me in my recovery, show me how to live clean and serene today? I did. I woke up and I did. Good job. Hey, Captain. Good. That makes me happy to hear that. It's like, that's how we get on track. Higher power, guide me in my recovery and show me how to live clean and serene. Damn, this house is dirty. It's okay, Tabitha. Thank you for being honest. That's okay, because you can get, since you were honest about it, now you know what to do. Tonight when you go to bed, say thank you, and then when you wake up in the morning, start from tomorrow, you know, and it'll really, really help set the tone for your day. It's kind of crazy, guys, like the little things that will help you to set the tone for your day, so that way you'll get on the right track, you know. It's really important to train our brains, you know, to retrain our brains to focus on the positive and not the negative, and to do the next right thing and not the wrong thing. Because I don't know about you, I practiced doing the wrong thing for so many years that it was second nature to me, you know, to do bad stuff. It was almost like I didn't know any better, you know? What's today? December. Ooh, I'm supposed to open and roll my son today. Okay. So, then I was talking to some people at the grocery store I work for, and I was telling my the manager about you guys, about my YouTube channel, and we were talking about starting like a recovery group for the employees of the grocery store, because a lot of them are, you know, in recovery from drugs and alcohol, and they need a support system. So I invited them over to the channel and told them to come hang out with us. because, hey, the more the merrier, right? The more the merrier. I just want everybody to have that support and connection, you know? But I'll never forget the first people who helped me build my channel up, and that's you guys. You guys are my A1 since day one, you know? So I'm sweeping this nasty old house out. God bless. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to vacuum later on. So, I figured the more people that start coming to the channel and taking part in like the meetings that we do, the more stuff we'll have to talk about. Okay, for me, I got high off of running from the law and being reckless in that case. So here I am making a change after 7 years of abusing every drug I could. You know, George, I know what you mean. Like, it was almost like probably like I don't mean to say turn on, but like a thrill to be getting away with like doing shit that's against the law. I know what you mean. When I used to go inside Dillard's, I used to go inside Dillard's and lift purses that were like $200 purses so I could sell them to the dope man's old lady. And when I would get out of there after I'd lift these purses, I would be like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I made it. But that just goes to show you, like, our addiction, it manifests itself in so many different areas of our life. It's not just about drugs and alcohol. It's about, like, you know, different behaviors that we practiced while we were in our addiction. Man, I'm telling you what. You know, and I'm just grateful that we're all, like, trying to do the next right thing now. Because it's hard work, you guys. It's not easy staying sober, you know. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes us all getting real and honest. And, you know, sometimes it's hard getting honest. Sometimes it's hard taking a look at ourselves. You know what I mean? And seeing, hey, you know what? I have been a piece of shit. And now I got to change. I know what you mean. So, normally I have so much to talk about, but today I'm kind of, cat's got my tongue. I'm glad you're here too, George. I've been worried about you. But I saw you in the chat this morning saying you had to go to court, and I thought, oh my God, is he going to go to jail? God, this house. It's just like, I need to wash everything. Everything has to be washed. Hold on. Let me grab this. My son's little chair that he sits in to eat. So fucking nasty. Because he spills food all over it. And then his daddy doesn't clean up plenty of it. There we go. Sorry, guys. How's it? Oh, you're on that. I forgot, Jason. It helps with the withdrawal, huh? It helps with the withdrawal, huh? what kids are doing now. They're abusing them. Gabapentin now. Isn't that crazy? Just hello. Hey, Ann. Anna, what's up, girl? We're just shooting the shit. I'm cleaning up. Okay. I think we need to do some recovery. I'm gonna go get my book and get some water, and we'll go upstairs and we'll do some recovery reading this morning. Y'all want to? Or y'all want me to do a story time? We quit 4 years ago on good girl. Okay. Whatever I feel like, gang. All right, let me take this bag of trash out. And then I'm going to come back and tell y'all a story. And we'll do some recovery together. All right. Okay. Okay, guys, so let me sit down somewhere comfortable and we'll do some story times. Okay, so let me tell you guys about, let me think. I'm trying to think of something. Let's start. Oh, let me go get my book too. Oh, listen, when I tell you about my little my readings out of the AA book, I'm telling you what, I got some good topics to talk about today. So,
are your makeup yet?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm gonna do some reading with everybody.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Let me go in here and sit down. Okay. I don't know why I like sitting in the bathroom, because I guess it has good lighting in here. Okay. Okay. So you know how yesterday we were talking about coming to believe in a power greater than ourselves, and how that you don't have to be religious, you don't have to believe in God, that a power greater than you can be. It can be the group, it can be the universe, it can be nature, it can be God, it can be anything that's greater than you. So, the reason it's so important to find a higher power and kind of identify it is because it tells us that no human power can relieve our addiction. Like, we don't have the power to cure ourselves. We're humans, so by putting our faith in something greater than us, it's kind of like You know that saying that faith without works is dead? So we have the faith, and then we got to put in the action, the works. So, there's what we did. We did the real alcoholic one. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to read to you guys. It's the chapter 4 is called We Agnostics. Okay, and I think this is really important for everybody to hear, because there are a lot of people that struggle with 12-step fellowships because they think that they have to believe in Jesus Christ, and that's just not the case. So let me read a little bit about this to you, and I think it'll really help some of you guys that are struggling with your faith or struggling with, your spirituality. Okay, this is the Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of addiction or alcoholism. We hope we have made clear the distinction between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic. If, when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if, when drinking or using, you have little control over the amounts you take, you are probably an alcoholic or an addict. So did you hear that, you guys? So this is the thing. Listen, if you're not sure whether or not you're an addict or an alcoholic, listen to this. If, when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if, when drinking or using, you have little control over the amounts you take, you are probably an addict or an alcoholic. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. Okay, do you hear that? So the disease of addiction, the disease of alcoholism, the only thing that will help you conquer it is spiritual experience. Okay, so listen. To one who feels he is an atheist or agnostic, such an experience seems impossible. But to continue as he means disaster, especially if he is an alcoholic of the hopeless variety. To be doomed to an alcoholic death, or to live on a spiritual basis, are not always easy alternatives to face. But it isn't so difficult. About half our original fellowship were of exactly that type. At first, some of us tried to avoid the issue, hoping against hope we were not true addicts. But after a while, we had to face the fact that we must find a spiritual basis of life or else. Perhaps it is going to be that way with you. But cheer up. Something like half of us thought we were atheists or agnostics. Our experience shows that you need not be disconcerted. If a mere code of morals or a better philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism or addiction, many of us would have recovered long ago. So do you hear that? If it was about us, if it was about our morals, then we would have we would have gotten sober a long time ago, because we would have been like, oh, I can't do that. That's wrong, but it's not about that. But we found that such codes and such philosophies did not save us, no matter how much we tried. We could wish to be moral. We could wish to be philosophically comforted. In fact, we could will these things with all of our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, as marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. Our own will does not work. Lack of power, that was our dilemma. We had to find a power by which we could live, and it had to be a power greater than ourselves, obviously. But where and how were we to find this power? Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. That means we have written a book which we believe to be spiritual as well as moral. And it means, of course, that we are going to talk about God. Here, difficulty arises with agnostics. Many times we talk to a new man and watch his hope rise as we discuss his alcoholic problems and explain our fellowship. but his face falls when we speak of spiritual matters, especially when we mention God, for we have reopened a subject which our man thought he had neatly evaded or entirely ignored. We know how he feels. We have shared his honest doubt and prejudice. Some of us have been violently anti-religious. To others, the word God brought up a particular idea of him with which someone had tried to impress them during childhood. And that's how it was for me. When I first read the word God in the big book, I thought it was like God like I grew up with, like the God that you go to hell if you do bad things. Perhaps we rejected this particular conception because it seemed inadequate. With that rejection, we imagined we had abandoned the God idea entirely. Hey, Avalon. We were bothered with the thought that faith and dependence upon a power beyond ourselves was somewhat weak, even cowardly. So it's like that's that whole ego that we would have is like, I should be able to do this on my own. I don't need a power greater than me. I should be able to do this on my own. We looked upon this world of warring individuals, warring theological systems, and inexplicable calamity with deep skepticism. We looked askance at many individuals who claimed to be godly. How could a supreme being have anything to do with it all? And who could comprehend a supreme being anyhow? Yet in other moments we found ourselves thinking, when enchanted by a starlit night, who then made all this? There was a feeling of awe and wonder, but it was fleeting and soon lost. Yes, we of agnostic temperament had these thoughts and experiences. Let us make haste to reassure you. We found that as soon as we were able to lay aside prejudice and express even a willingness to believe in a power greater than ourselves, we commenced to get results, even though it was impossible for any of us to fully define or comprehend that power. Did you hear that? Yes, we of agnostic temperament have had these thoughts and experiences. Let us make haste to reassure you. We found that as soon as we were able to lay aside prejudice, so stop looking at the differences and look at the similarities, and express even a willingness to believe in a power greater than ourselves, we commenced to get results. So all you have to do is be willing to believe. All you have to do is stop looking at the differences. Stop saying, oh, well, I can't do that because of this. And just become willing and you will get results. Much to our relief, we discovered we did not need to consider another's conception of God. Our own conception, however inadequate, was sufficient to make the approach and to effect a contact with him. So all you have to do is have a relationship with your own God of your own understanding, your conception of your higher power, and make contact with that higher power. Just like I was talking about us all waking up in the morning and take my will in my life, guide me in my recovery, and show me how to live clean and serene. And doing that in the morning we wake up, that's making contact. Okay, that's starting out that conscious contact. Then we go throughout our day and we try to be mindful. We try to do the next right thing. We try to be kind to others. And then when we come home at night, we say thank you. So that's just making that contact, okay? As soon as we admitted the possible existence of a creative intelligence, a spirit of the universe underlying the totality of things, we began to be possessed of a new sense of power and direction, provided we took other simple steps. We found that God does not make too hard terms with those who seek him. To us, the realm of the spirit is broad, roomy, all-inclusive, never exclusive or forbidding to those who earnestly seek. It is open, we believe, to all men. So we just have to seek, y'all. Your higher power is there. All you have to do is seek a relationship with your higher power. And just like it says in here, The realm of the spirit is broad, roomy, and all-inclusive, never exclusive. When, therefore, we speak to you of God, we mean your own conception of God. This applies, too, to other spiritual expressions which you find in this book. Do not let any prejudice you may have against spiritual terms deter you from honestly asking yourself what they mean to you. At the start, this is all we needed to commence spiritual growth, to effect our first conscious relation with God as we understood Him. Afterward, we found ourselves accepting many things which then seemed entirely out of reach. That was growth. But if we wished to grow, we had to begin somewhere. So we used our own conception, however limited it was. So it doesn't matter if you haven't ever prayed a day in your life. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in the same God I believe in. If you'll just believe that I believe, then we can start doing this thing. Your own conception, it doesn't matter how limited it is. We needed to ask ourselves but one short question. Do I now believe, or am I even willing to believe, that there is a power greater than myself? As soon as a man can say that he does believe or is willing to believe, we emphatically assure him that he is on his way. Just believe, y'all. That's all you have to do is believe or be willing to believe, and you'll be on your way. It has been repeatedly proven among us that upon this simple cornerstone, a wonderfully effective spiritual structure can be built. That was great news to us, for we had assumed we could not make use of spiritual principles unless we accepted many things on faith which seemed difficult to believe. When people presented us with spiritual approaches, how frequently did we all say, I wish I had what that man has. I'm sure it would work if I could only believe as he believes. But no, I cannot accept as surely true the many articles of faith which are so plain to him. So it was comforting to learn that we could commence at a simpler level. So you don't have to be a holy roller. You don't have to be like one of those people that's levitating and so in tune with your... It's like all you have to do is believe, okay, guys? Just believe in a power greater than yourself. And you will grow in your relationship with your higher power as time goes by. But all you need to do right now to start out is believe, okay? Believe that there's a power out there that's greater than you that can restore you to sanity. Besides a seemingly inability to accept much on faith, we often found ourselves handicapped by obstinacy, sensitiveness, and unreasoning prejudice. Many of us have been so touchy that even casual references to spiritual things made us bristle with antagonism. This sort of thinking had to be abandoned. So, you know how sometimes we'll get touchy? That was my fear with going to treatment or AA because I am far from religious. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, that's that contempt prior to investigation. Like, it is... The spiritual concept is all that we need to find our connection with our own power greater than ourselves. You know what I mean? Hey, Sam, I'm glad you're here, girl. That's where a lot of people, they like write off AA and they say, well, I'm not going there because I don't believe in God, you know, but that's not what it's about. It's about your power. It's just about you having a conscious contact with a power greater than you. And like my conscious contact is with God because that's my power. That's greater than me that I believe in. And when I first started out, you guys, I had lost that connection with him. I believed that, I don't know if it was so much that I believed. It was that I had learned it all my life. It had just been like beaten in my brain about God, you know? And so it wasn't that I believed. I had to come to believe, you guys, because it was just like my conception of God was what my parents always taught me. So through my recovery and through working the steps and going to meetings and working with my sponsor, I have built a connection with my power, with my higher power. And that has opened me up to spiritual experiences that have helped me to stay sober, you know? And that power greater than me is what helps me stay sober, because I'm really just a walking miracle. You know, every day that I wake up and I don't want to go out and shoot a needle in my arm or take a bunch of pills is a miracle, because I remember a time where I was so overtaken by my addiction that I couldn't wake up without shooting up. I couldn't wake up without going to the dope man's house. This sort of thinking had to be abandoned. Though some of us resisted, we found no great difficulty in casting aside such feelings. Faced with alcoholic destruction, we soon became as open-minded on spiritual matters as we had tried to be on other questions. In this respect, alcohol was a great persuader, or heroin, or pills, whatever your drug choice was. It finally beat us into a state of reasonableness. Sometimes this was a tedious process. We hope no one else will be prejudiced for as long as some of us were. So, dope beat me into desperation to get sober. Dope beat me up so bad that I ran into AA saying, help me, because I need help. And that's why it was easier for me to come to believe in that power greater than me, because I was so desperate to get better, you guys. I was so desperate to be ready to make changes in my life and to have my recovery, you know? And when you get to that point at the end of your addiction where you're just desperate, you're ready to make changes. It doesn't matter if you have to, like I said, go outside, do a backflip, and worship a tree. You're going to do it because you're going to want to stay sober. Do you know what I mean? You're going to want to stay sober and stay on track. And it doesn't matter what faith you have to build and what power greater than you. You're going to do whatever you can to make those changes. And that's what's happening, you know. When you're ready, you'll come in and you'll say, okay, so I need to believe in a power greater than me. Okay, I'm ready to believe. Okay. Okay. The reader may still ask why he should believe in a power greater than himself. We think there are good reasons. Let us have a look at some of them. The practical individual of today is a stickler for facts and results. Nevertheless, the 20th century readily accepts theories of all kinds, provided they are firmly grounded in fact. We have numerous theories, for example, about electricity. Everybody believes them without a murmur of doubt. Why this ready acceptance? Simply because it is impossible to explain what we see, feel, direct, and use without a reasonable assumption as a starting point. Everybody nowadays believes in scores of assumptions for which there is good evidence, but no perfect visual proof. So, we who have traveled this dubious path beg of you to lay aside prejudice, even against organized religion. We have learned that whatever the human frailties of various faiths may be, those faiths have given purpose and direction to millions. People of faith have a logical idea of what life is all about. And we have to find purpose. When we get sober, you guys, we had no purpose, you know? When we were out there using drugs and alcohol, we had no faith, we had no purpose, we had no direction to our lives. So when we get sober and we start our recovery, we have to find purpose and direction to our lives. And that's what having a power greater than you and believing and having that faith will help you to focus in on and hone in on. And then you'll be able to find what makes you happy. And then you'll be able to find your purpose. Like my purpose for me is my son and helping others. Like I love coming on here and teaching and kind of relating to you guys what works for me on how I stay clean. And I have found like I get excited. I get excited to come on here and share with you guys about it, you know? Hold on. Hey, at what point do I no longer fear getting off Suboxone? Okay, Tabitha, you really listen to me, girl, okay? How long have you been on Suboxone, first of all? And have you been doing therapy? Have you been going to meetings? Have you got yourself into some kind of into some kind of treatment recovery program? Because what happens when you get off Suboxone is you won't have that opioid going into your brain anymore. So you're going to start craving opiates when you get off Suboxone. And you're going to be going through post-acute withdrawal because you're going to taper down as low as you can with your doctor. And then when you come off, you're still going to feel not good. So that's going to trigger you to want to go out and use. Okay, so it's really, really, really important to get yourself and dive headfirst into some kind of treatment program while you're on Suboxone. So that way, while you're on it, you're learning new coping skills and new ways to fight your addiction. Because just taking Suboxone is not going to help you at all. Okay? Just taking Suboxone for 3 years and then jumping off, you're going to be the same person you were when you started on Suboxone. You know what I mean? So I want my suggestion to you would to get involved in some kind of recovery program. AA, NA, Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery, Refuge Recovery. Okay? Because you need to be talking with other people who are recovering from the disease of addiction so they can teach you how to cope with triggers, how to cope with using dreams, how to cope with just cope with life. Because when you jump off Suboxone, I'm telling you right now, girl, it is going to be like everything is coming from out of everywhere. And it's going to be like, how is this happening to me? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like that's exactly when everything will start hitting, shit will hit the fan. Your life will be going great, and then when you decide to get off Suboxone, all the shit will hit the fan. You know? Post-acute withdrawal is a real thing, too. Like, it can last for years after you get off Suboxone. Tabitha, get back in, girl, because listen, it will be the best thing you ever did, and then you'll have that sense of community. So when you do decide to taper off, and there's no rush, okay? First of all, let that be known. If you're on medically assisted treatment, there is no rush to taper, okay? You have got to take your time, all right? Sit back, relax, get yourself involved in the AA program in your town. Start going to meetings, start hanging out with the other girls, start going to speaker meetings. Shoot, start taking meetings into the treatment centers, you guys. That is so much fun. If you can get with some of the other people that go to the meetings with you and you guys start taking a meeting to the kids in the rehab, you guys will love it, because then you'll get to see people that are in treatment and they're struggling, and they get so excited when they see you because you're bringing a meeting to them, you know, and they're desperate and they need help. And so it's so inspiring to be able to go and see them, like, you know, and they'll reach out to you, and it's just, I love it. I love the community, you know, the fellowship. So, Okay. So I guess I just want to make sure that you guys know, like, not that when you get involved in a 12-step program, that it's not like a church, you know, because I think a lot of people don't give it a try because they think that it's like church, you know, and it's not, you guys. You just need to have a spiritual connection with a God of your own understanding, okay? We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problems this same readiness to change our point of view. We were having trouble with personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were a prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. Was not a basic solution of these benevolence more important than whether we should see newsreels of lunar flight? Of course it was. When we saw others solve their problems by a simple reliance upon the spirit of the universe, we had to stop doubting the power of God. Our ideas did not work, but the God idea did. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problems this same readiness, okay? It says we were depressed. We couldn't handle our relationships. We couldn't seem to help anybody. We were living in misery, okay? We were living in misery. We had to stop doubting the power of the universe and get connected to the spirit. Our ideas did not work, you guys. My best thinking got me into my addiction. My best thinking got me taking all the pills and all the dope shots. That our thinking got us where we're at. Now all we have to do is believe in something greater than ourselves, because we can't get out of this on our own, you guys. You cannot recover on your own. You have got to get connected. You've got to get some kind of spiritual connection. I don't care if your spiritual connection is to the big old giant oak tree outside and you go outside and thank it every morning. I don't care. Just get a connection. Get connected, you guys. It's crucial. The Wright brothers almost childish faced that they could build a machine which would fly as the mainspring of their accomplishment. Without that, nothing could have happened. We agnostic and atheists were sticking to the idea that self-sufficiency would solve our problems. And I'm telling you, when we stick to that idea that self-sufficiency, that self is going to solve self, what a disservice. You're missing out, because like I said, we got ourselves in this mess, you know. We cannot solve our own problems, you know what I mean? We agnostics and atheists were sticking to the idea that self-sufficiency would solve our problems. When others showed us that God's sufficiency worked with them, we begin to feel like those who had insisted the Wrights would never fly. Logic is great stuff. We liked it. We still like it. It is not by chance we were given the power to reason, to examine the evidence of our senses, and to draw conclusions. That is one of man's magnificent attributes. We agnostically inclined would not feel satisfied with a proposal which does not lend itself to reasonable approach and interpretation. Hence, we are at pains to tell why we think our present faith is reasonable, why we think it more sane and logical to believe than not to believe, why we say our former thinking was soft and mushy when we threw up our hands in doubt and said, we don't know. When we became alcoholics and addicts, crushed by self-imposed crisis, we could not postpone or evade. We had to fearlessly face the proposition that either God is everything or else he is nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was our choice to be? Arrived at this point, we were squarely confronted with the question of faith. We couldn't duck the issue. Some of us had already walked over the bridge of reason toward the desired shore of faith. The outlines and the promise of the new land had brought luster to tired eyes and fresh courage to flagging spirits. Friendly hands had stretched out in welcome. We were grateful that reason had brought us so far. But somehow we couldn't quite step ashore. Perhaps we had been leaning too heavily on reason. That last mile, and we did not like to lose our support. That was natural, but let us think a little more closely. Without knowing it, had we not been brought to where we stood by a certain kind of faith? For did not we believe in our own reasoning? Did we not have confidence in our ability to think? What was that but a sort of faith? Yes, we had been faithful, objectively faithful to the God of reason. So in one way or the other, we discovered that faith had been involved all the time. We found too that we had been worshipers. What a state of mental gooseflesh that used to bring on. Had we not variously worshipped people, sentiment, things, money, and ourselves? And then with a better motive, had we not worshipfully beheld the sunset, the sea, or a flower? Who of us had not loved something or somebody? How much did these feelings, these loves, these worships have to do with pure reason? Little or nothing, we saw at last. We were not these things the tissue out of which our lives were constructed. Did not these feelings, after all, determine the course of our existence? It was impossible to say we had no capacity for faith or love or worship. In one form or the other, we had been living by faith and little else. So, just like when you guys would go out and you'd get yourself a bag of dope or a bag of pot, didn't you have faith that that bag of dope or that bag of pot was going to get you high? When you would buy a dope shot and mix it up, didn't you believe that that was going to get you fucked up? So why can't you believe that there's a power somewhere out there greater than you? Okay? And have faith. So imagine life without faith, you guys. Where nothing left but pure reason, it wouldn't be life. But we believed in life, of course we did. We could not prove life in the sense that you can prove a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. Yet there it was. Could we still say that the whole thing was nothing but a mass of electrons created out of nothing, meaning nothing, whirling on to the destiny of nothingness? Of course we couldn't. The electrons themselves seemed more intelligent than that, at least so the chemists said. Hence, we saw the reason isn't everything. Neither is reason, as most of us use it, entirely dependable, though it emanate from our best minds. What about people who proved that man could never fly? Thank you, manager. Okay. Yet we had been seeing another kind of flight, a spiritual liberation from this world, people who rose above their problems. They said God made these things possible, and we only smiled. We had seen spiritual release, but liked to tell ourselves it wasn't true. Actually, we were fooling ourselves, for deep down in every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. It may be obscured by calamity, by pomp, by worship of other things, but in some form or another it is there. For faith in a power greater than ourselves and miraculous demonstrations of that power in human lives are facts as old as man himself. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God was a part of our makeup, just as much as the feeling we have for a friend. Sometimes we had to search fearlessly, but he was there. He was as much a fact as we were. We found the great reality deep down within us. In the last analysis, it is only there that he may be found. It was so with us. Do you guys hear that? So that's where your higher power will be found, inside of you. He never left you. He's been inside you all the time. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God was part of our makeup, just as much as the feeling we have for a friend. He was as much a fact as we were. We found that great reality deep down within us. In the last analysis, it is only there that he may be found. It was so with us. We can only clear the ground a bit. If our testimony helps sweep away prejudice, enables you to think honestly, encourages you to search diligently within yourself, then, if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. With this attitude, you cannot fail. The consciousness of your belief is sure to come to you. In this book, you will read the experience of a man who thought he was an atheist. His story is so interesting that some of it should be told now. His change of heart was dramatic, convincing, and moving. Our friend was a minister's son. Listen, you guys. He attended church school, where he became rebellious at what he thought an overdose of religious education. For years thereafter, he was dogged by trouble and frustration, business failure, insanity, fatal illness, suicide. These calamities in his immediate family embittered and depressed him. Post-war disillusionment, ever more serious alcoholism, impending mental and physical collapse brought him to a point of self-destruction. One night, when confined in a hospital, he was approached by an alcoholic who had known a spiritual experience. So he was approached by a guy who had had a spiritual experience and was recovered from alcoholism. Our friend's Gorge rose as he bitterly cried out, "If there is a God, he certainly hasn't done anything for me." But later, alone in his room, he asked himself this question: is it possible that all religious people I have known are wrong? While pondering the answer, he felt as though he lived in hell. Then, like a thunderbolt, a great thought came. It crowded out all other thoughts. Who are you to say there is no God? This man recounts that he tumbled out of bed to his knees. In a few seconds, he was overwhelmed by a conviction of the presence of God. It poured over through him with the certainty and majesty of a great tide at flood. The barriers he had built through the years were swept away. He stood in the presence of infinite power and love. He had stepped from bridge to shore. For the first time, he lived in conscious companionship with his Creator. Thus was our friend's cornerstone fixed in place. No later vicissitude has shaken it. His alcoholic problem was taken away. That very night, years ago, it disappeared. Save for a few brief moments of temptation, the thought of drink has never returned. And at such times, a great revulsion has risen up in him. Seemingly, he could not drink even if he wanted to. God had restored his sanity. What is this but a miracle of healing? Yet its elements are simple. Circumstances made him willing to believe. He humbly offered himself to his Maker. Then he knew. Even so has God restored us all to our right minds. To this man, the revelation was sudden. Some of us grow into it more slowly, but he has come to all who have honestly sought him. When we drew near to him, he disclosed himself to us. So, if we will all just be willing to believe in a power greater than ourselves, just be willing, you guys. and to have faith and to believe that that power can help you get sober, you know, then we're all going to be on the right road to recovery. Because we can't do it alone. That's why we have to believe in a power greater than ourselves, because we can't depend on our own human will. Our own human will is what got us in this problem, you know? So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I know a lot of you guys might struggle with religion, or might struggle with your spiritual connection. And, you know, it's not about religion. It's just about you getting connected spiritually, okay? And having faith in something greater than you. So. I hope you guys don't mind, you know, liked me reading that, because I just think it's really important for you guys to know that you cannot get sober by yourself. Like, you can't, it's so much work, you guys. It takes a whole, it's like, it takes an army. It takes a whole village to, you know, get us together. Like, you guys, for me to stay sober every day, it takes so many people. I talk to you guys. I talk to so many of you guys one-on-one. Then I talk to my friends that are in recovery. It's my sponsor, my husband. And I need that connection, because that connection helps me stay sober. And that faith in that power greater than myself helps me stay sober. And I just want you guys to find that too, and to tap into that spiritual connection so we can do this together, you know? Well, that's the thing, Tabitha. If your family doesn't understand, then you know what? They don't need to understand. It's none of their business, you know? We can't, like, make them understand or believe why maintenance works for us. Because you know what? A lot of people have bad experiences with maintenance. And what I mean by that is they see their loved ones abuse it, you know? And they think, oh, well, they're not really trying to be sober. And they compare how people use it illegally, you know? Right. And for the longest time, Tabitha, I used to let other people's, like, decision or other people's opinions of me being on maintenance affect me. And I almost got off too early a couple times, because I was so insecure about how people perceived me, you know? And Avalon, she told me a long time ago, you know, it's nobody's business, you guys. It's nobody's business if you're on maintenance. The only person's business that is yours and your doctor's. Because what it does when you share that with other people is it opens you up to criticism. Okay? It opens you up to people's opinions, and then they start forcing their opinions on you. And that's not their place, you know? Hold on, I'm making the bed real fast. Honestly, if I could do it all over again, I don't know that I would have told anybody I was on Suboxone. Because I probably could have had a job working in treatment if I hadn't told anybody, or doing something that I wanted to do with treatment, you know, because people judge me because I'm on maintenance. It pisses me off.
Apple, will you pass me my phone?
So whenever I sponsor anybody or talk to anybody that's getting on it, I tell them that they don't have to tell anybody but me and the doctor. You don't even have to tell me, you know, like, but, you know, we're all open in here because a lot of us are on it, so we share it with each other and let each other know. But And that's what happens. And that, what, Cher, thank you for being honest about that. Like, I really appreciate your honesty and transparency, because I know a lot of people struggle with that. And that is okay. But when you can get honest about it and make those changes, that's when you're making progress. When you can get honest and you can make the changes that you need to make. And so that's a big step. Good job, girl. Because what happens is I ask myself all that time. That's what I was talking to you guys about when I'm checking my motives. I'm always asking myself, am I doing too much? Do I need to stop, or should I start doing this? Like, I always want to make sure that, I am doing what I need to do to stay on the right track, So it's hard to get honest, though, you guys. It's embarrassing sometimes, and a lot of us have shame, Hey, Jennifer. All right. Yeah. Did you listen to the reading? I just got done reading We Agnostics, the whole chapter. It was really, really good. And it's just talking about, having a spiritual connection. And it's just really about building that faith, you guys, that faith in a power greater than you. And seeking that power out. I never used to talk to God before. I just, and now I have a personal relationship with him. And the thing, Tabitha, you got to let that shame go. You got to process that shame, and you got to let it go, because shame is going to keep you sick in your addiction. All right? Shame's going to keep you feeling, shameful. And that or do. Oh, sorry. I used to be really ashamed because I used while I was pregnant with my son. And so it was really, really hard for me to share that. When I would come on video, I would cry my eyes out. And what I have done is I have talked with my counselor about that. I've shared with my sponsor, and I've really processed through that, because now, you guys, I was sick. I was sick in my addiction. Would I ever do that now? No. So if you're struggling with shame, process through that shame. Give yourself, realize you were sick. You were sick with a disease, and you were in active addiction, okay? You're not that person anymore, and you're making changes. So I had to charge my phone, you guys. It's on 12%, so I'm going to jump off here. But I hope you guys had a good little meeting with me. I really enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys tonight about 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, bye.